Hello everyone, welcome to session 4 of Python 0 to Hero. In this session, your program will get more smarter. We will learn how to make decisions and perform tasks repeatedly using Python's control flow tools. We will cover decision making with if and else, looping using for and while, loop control using break and continue. Along with this, we will see real world projects like a grade calculator, login logic, countdown, and more. Let's begin. So, the concept is control flows. Control flow in programming is how your code decides what to do next. So, Python offers three primary tools for this uh, if, elif, and else block, for or while loop, and break, continue, and pass. This is for controlling the loop. Let's break down each one. So let's start with decision making with if, elif, and else. Else. So use if, elif, and else to execute block of code based on some conditions. So if checks for some for the first condition, elif lets you to test multiple conditions, and else execute if no conditions are true. So let's start with our basic example wherein I would like to get user input, which is age, and if the age is greater than or equal to 18, then I will just mention like you are an adult, and if the age is greater than or equal to 13, then I will just mention you are a teenager, and if the age is less than that, I'm like if there is nothing else, right, so then I will just mention it as like you are a child, right? So let's get started. So to read the data from console, right, so we will use input. So before that I need to do the typecasting as well, right? So age will be an integer data type, right? So I have to use the typecasting. So I'll just take the input from user, and then after that I have to write if else block, so to write some conditions. So if the age is greater than or equal to 18, then I'll just mention like you are an adult. And if the age is, here I have multiple conditions, right? So if the age is greater than or equal to 13, then I will just mention you are a teenager. Else print you are a child. Okay. So what happens here is based on the user input, this first it will check this condition. If this condition gets satisfied, then it will enter to this loop. So here we have one single statement. This will get executed and it will come out of this complete entire if block. And if it is not satisfying this condition, then it will check for this condition. If this is getting satisfied, then it will execute this. If it is not satisfying both the above conditions, then it will go to else block. Now it is asking for age. Let me give 19. So it is displaying you are an adult. Good. So let's give some 15, right? So it is displaying you are a teenager. Let's give 10, then it is displaying you are a child. Cool. So now let's take in another example of login validation. Okay. So this is login validation. So wherein, right? So I have to take the username and password from the console. If the username and password is correct, then only I need to print the login successful message. If it is not correct, then I need to mention like invalid credentials. So let's take name or like username. Username equal to uh, just read the data from input. Get the data from the user, enter username, and I need to take the password as well. Input, enter password, and now I have to validate. So to validate, I have to use if else block. If username equal to something like admin and password equal to some password 123, then only, okay, it should be double equal to, because we are comparing, right? So this is a comparison operator. Then print login successful. If it is false, right? So if it is not getting satisfied, the condition is not getting satisfied, then print invalid credentials. Credentials done. So I'm just executing it. So first I need to provide pass or like username. Username will just provide like Alice, and password will just mention like password 123. See, as username is wrong, so it is just giving me invalid credentials. Okay. So here, right? So we are just performing logical AND. Logical AND. So I believe I have covered pretty much in the previous session about logical OR and logical AND. Let me show you in an Excel sheet how this logical and logical OR will work. So logical OR, right? So let's say you have two statements, statement or like conditions, okay? Something like condition 1 and condition 2. Let's see what will be the result as well. Okay, if you are using logical OR, right? So if the condition 1 is true and if the condition 2 is also true, then the final condition will become true. And the basic fundamental for logical OR is you should make sure that like any one of the condition should be true, then only the final result will be true. So if condition 1 is true and condition 2 is false, right? Then also the final result will be true. And similarly, if the condition 1 is false and if the condition 2 is true, then also it will be true. If the condition 1 is false and if the condition 2 is also false, then the final output will be false for logical OR. Similarly, for logical and right, so I will take the same conditions and result will be like if and only if both the conditions are true, then only the final result will become true. If not, it will be false. And coming to logical not, right? So there will be only one condition and one result. So the condition, if the condition is true, then the final result will be false. Similarly, if the condition is false, then the final result will be true. We're just reversing the output, final output. That's how these logical operations will work. So similarly here, right? So we are using logical AND. If all the conditions are true, then only the final result will be true. So here username I have to provide admin and password also I need to provide as a same password 123. Then only this condition will get satisfied and this gets printed. So let me execute again. So the username is admin and the password I am typing is password 123. See, now it got successful, login successful. So that's how the logical AND will work. And now let's discuss about loops in Python. loops in Python. So loops will allow you to repeat a block of code multiple times. It means you can run the same piece of code again and again. So in loops, right? So we have for and while. Let's discuss about for first, and then we'll discuss about while. So for loop is used to iterate over a sequence like a list, string, or range. So let's discuss about range. Range is a function in Python which generates a sequence of numbers. We can also call this as generator. We'll discuss about it later. But as of now, just think of a function. So here we have the first number and stop number, which means it would actually generate the numbers from 1 to 5. Let us see how it will work. So for I in range of 1 comma 6, I want to print I. I want to print I. So that right, so it should actually generate the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically 1 to 5. Okay, see the output here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how range will work. So range is a function which will generate the sequence of numbers. And let's discuss about while loop. So in while is also used to repeat the same condition, I'm like same logic again and again until and unless it becomes false. So be careful whenever you're working with while loop. It might also go with an infinite loop. So let's create one while loop. So I'm just creating one counter which is 0. So while count is less than 5, while count is less than 5, print something like count is count is some count value, and just increment this count value with 1. Okay, so this is like an increment operator. So what I'm doing here is I'm just defining a variable count. Initially the value will be 0. While this particular condition is true, this particular statements will get executed. This loop will continue, and when this particular statement is becoming false, it will come out of the loop. Let's see how it is coming. See, so initially when count is 0, right? So in the first case, 0 is less than 5, which is true statement, until, right? So it will go till 4. Okay, 4 will also get satisfied. Here we are just incrementing the next counter, which is 5. As 5 is not less than 5, it is actually equal to 5. 5 is equal to 5, right? So 5, if it is 5 is equal to 5, this particular condition would have satisfied, right? So this particular condition will become false, so it is coming out of the while loop. Now let us discuss more about how loops will behave using control statements. So we have loop control statements like break, continue, and pass. So basically these are like loop control statements. So these statements will help you to stop the loop immediately, or to skip the loop immediately, or uh, to just keep it as like a placeholder. Okay, that's how it works. Let's see it in practical. So break will actually stop the loop immediately. Let us see how we can actually break it. So for I in a range of 10, or like 1 comma 10, right? So I want to print I. So what it will do, it will just print 1 to 10, 1 to 9, right? So now if I equal to 5, right? So I just want to break the loop. So what happens is whenever this particular condition gets satisfied, at that time this break statement will completely break this for loop and it will come out. It will just execute. So now let's see what it is doing. See, whenever I value is becoming 5, it is just breaking down and it is not printing this value. It's just like completely breaking this for loop and coming out. So here the output is just 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Similarly, I can also work with continue. What continue will do is continue will skip the current iteration and continues to the next iteration. Okay, it will just skip the current iteration and will just continue the next iteration. For example, let's take the same for loop. I mean like same logic, and instead of break, I'll just give continue. Instead of break, I'm giving continue. So what it will do is whenever I value is becoming 5, at that time it will just skip this print statement, and at 6, right, 6, 7, 8, and all the other unsatisfied conditions, right, so it will just do as is. So see here, so you can see 5 got skipped because if I equal to 5, then I'm just giving a statement continue, so that it will skip the current iteration and continues to the next. And similarly, we have pass, so which will do nothing. It is just used as a placeholder. Okay, so it will just be used as a placeholder. That's it. So if you are simply giving if I equal to 5 and if you are not writing any statement, then it will end up with an error. So if you want to do nothing, right, at that time we can use pass. Most of the times whenever we are working with methods, if you are not clear about the business logic, we'll just define the method and we will just give pass, so that right whenever we got some business logic or like whenever we got some confirmation from the business at that time, right, so we will just give the actual code in the methods. At the time we'll use this pass most of the times. Now let's do an use case. So I want to get the sum of n numbers. For that we can use for loop and create the logic. Okay, sum of n numbers. So for this as well, I will ask the input from user. Based on that, right, so I will implement the logic. So first of all, I will ask what is the n value. So int input, enter the number, and then I will create a variable with total 0. This is just like a placeholder for the next implementation. So I just need to iterate the loop for I in range of range of 1 comma n plus 1. Right, so range will generate the numbers until -1, right? So the second argument's -1, right? So that is the reason I just need to use n plus 1. And what I have to do is I just need to use the incremental operator total plus equal to I. Simple, right? So this will just, I mean, like, total will contain the sum of n numbers. Now let's execute this, and I am providing 10. So that, right, I just need sum of first 10 numbers. So the sum of first 10 numbers is 55, right? So we got 55. Let's create another example of traffic light system. So first of all, I need to take signal input, signal equal to input, enter traffic signal. So I'll just provide what the user has to provide. Uh, So I'll just provide something like red, yellow, green. Okay, so user is expected to provide only these values, red, yellow, green. If signal is equal to red, red, then print stop. Elif signal is yellow, yellow, then print slow down. And elif signal is green, then go. Else, if the user is not providing any of this red, yellow, or green, at the time I just need to populate like invalid output, invalid input. Okay, let's execute this. I'll just provide red, right? So it is stop, right? So let me execute again. I'll just provide green, it means go, right? I'll just execute it again. I'll just give something like orange. So it is like an invalid input. Right, so similarly, I can also create an ATM cash withdrawal checker. Basically, let us say I have a balance of 5,000 in my account, and if the user is trying to take more amount than 5,000, then I just need to tell like insufficient balance. And if the user is actually uh, taking less than the balance amount, right? So then I should actually make the transaction successful, and I just need to populate the remaining balance in the console. So let me create that ATM cash withdrawal checker. So first of all, I need to create balance. Okay, so balance is 5,000, and I need to ask user what is the amount he wants to withdraw. So input, uh, enter the amount to withdraw, and if withdraw amount is less than or equal to balance, then print transaction is successful, and you should update the balance minus equal to withdraw, and just print remaining balance is followed by the balance amount. If it does not have enough amount, then just print insufficient balance. Okay, let me enter 10,000 first. So insufficient balance. Let me execute again, and let me give 5,000. So transaction successful. The remaining balance is 0. Let me execute again. Let me take 1,000 rupees. So transaction is successful. The remaining balance is 4,000. So this is how we can create an ATM cash withdrawal checker. And I also want to create a user menu by using while loop. Okay. So simple user menu. So which is like let us say if the user is entering 1, then say hello. If the user is entering 2, then say bye, and if the user is entering 3, then just exit the loop. Okay, so for that, right, so I just need to use while loop. So this is for user menu. So while true, it means all the times I'm just keeping true, which means the while loop will execute for an infinite number of times until and unless we use break. So just print something like uh, /n 1 dot say hello /n 2 dot say bye /n is nothing but the Boolean character 3 dot exit, and just ask for user choice equal to input. Again, this should be integer. Input, enter choice. And if choice is equal to 1, then print hello. And if the choice is equal to, oh my bad, I just accidentally clicked on control enter, so it just got executed. So elif, if choice is equal to 2, print good boy. Elif, if choice is equal to 3, then print exiting exiting followed by break. Else, if the user is providing any other than this, then we have to mention like invalid choice. Done. So let's give 1. So it means it is telling hello there. And let's give 2. It should say bye. See here, it is saying goodbye. And if I mention 3, it will just exit the loop. So that's how user menu will work. And now let's discuss an interesting topic, which is like creating the multiplication table. So let's see how to create multiplication table. So to create multiplication table, I need to take the input from the user. So first of all, I just need to ask which number table you want. Int input enter number. And now for I in range of 1 comma 11 comma 11, I'll just use print. In Python, we have a concept of f string, so which is a very good topic. So it is like one of the most powerful feature which is used to format the string literals. So let's uh, see how it works. It is like a cleanest way and fastest way to format the strings. Let us say you have name equal to Alice and age equal to 25. And if you want to concatenate these two, right? So we can use print uh, something like my name is. Let's see if we do not have f strings, right? So at the time we used to use plus operator. So to concatenate the strings, name followed by uh, Alice and my age is my age is plus age. So basically here you might get an error. The reason is uh, age is integer and name is string. And if you see, right, this is also a string literal. So obviously whenever you are trying to uh, use plus operator with integer variable, then you should ideally get an error, right? So see, you got an error. Can only concatenate strings, not integer. So what we have to do here is we can actually convert this to string, and now it is working. There is another easy way. By using f strings also we can do this very easily. So we can make the code very clean, and it is like the fastest way of writing the code if you want to print something. So print, so I will use f string f f within single quotes. I will just give the content. My name is within this flower braces. I will just provide name, and my age is age. That's it. So what happens here is, here name and age are variables. These variables we are writing in the curly braces, so that at the runtime these variables will be replaced with the actual value. So when we are running it, right, you can see, so the variables are getting replaced automatically with the actual values. So it's easier way to read and write the code, and it is more efficient than dot format. So we have a dot format method, so which will also work similar, but this f strings is very easy than dot format. And if you want to do some calculations within this, right, so you can still do it. Let us say I have something called a equal to 5 and b equal to 10, and if I want to get the sum of both these values, I can use f strings and do the calculations inside as well. So the sum of a and b is, I can just mention like a plus b. See here, I am just doing computation inside, so it is still working. So let me go back to the actual concept wherein I am trying to create the multiplication table. So here, when I'm trying to create the multiplication table, I will use f strings. So I'll just tell something like uh, f within double quotes. I can just tell like number into number into, and again I equal to num into I. So this will actually give me a multiplication table output. So let's execute this, and I want the multiplication table for 3. See here, it is neatly giving you the 3 table. Similarly, if you want to get some 15 table, right, so you can get the 15 table output. So that's how we can actually create the multiplication table. So I will do one thing. I will just bring this cell down. Done. Okay, so with this, I would like to wrap up this session on control flow in Python. So we saw how to make decisions with if, elif, and else, and we saw how to repeat the actions with for and while loops, and we looked at like control loop behavior using break, continue, and pass, and we also looked at like applying our knowledge in real world examples like logic systems and calculators. In the next session, we are jumping into Python's core data structures, which is list, tuple, sets, and dictionaries. This is where the data organization really begins. If you enjoyed today's session, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who is learning Python too.